What's going on, guys? This is Seth Forge here, and today or tonight I am back with another college football prediction video. And this week's video, I'm going to be talking about the South Carolina Gamecocks versus the Virginia Tech Hokies. That will be played on Sunday, which is August 31st of 2025 at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Kind of a weird day to have college football on. And I know that UNC versus TCU is the next day after, which is even more weird just because it's on a Sunday and then another game on a Monday. Just a weird kind of a calendar for week one. But this will be very interesting to see. South Carolina had a great season last year. Virginia Tech, they had a high hopes last year. They were kind of like they were supposed to be like the dark horse of the ACC. Had a lot of games that collapsed, didn't go their way, and of course they had a letdown season. But they still had I guess you can say like a bowl eligible bowl game season. So, but yeah, South Carolina is, I guess you can say, on the rise. They had a great season last year. Virginia Tech could be also one of those teams that could pop up like an Indiana type team this year. Who knows? Or South Carolina. Both of these teams could potentially be the dark horse of their conference. But like we said before, anything can happen for this upcoming season. So, as a further ado, let's go ahead and go through the slideshow of this video. But if you guys want to scroll all the way down or sim all the way through this video and look at the final prediction at the end, I will have this timestamp on my description below. So as a further ado, like I said before, let's go ahead and go through this video. And of course, so the last season record, like I said before, South Carolina had a great season last year, 9-4, 5-3. But as you know, SEC fans think they're gonna win the national championship or it'll be a bust. But for South Carolina, they had a good season last year, 9-4, 5-3, tied for fourth in the SEC. They lost in the Citrus Bowl against Illinois, who also is a very good team as well. So two good teams that shot up last year, been pretty good. And of course, Illinois won 21-17. And Virginia Tech had we thought they were gonna have a good season last year, but end up 6-7. Still 6-6 before the bowl game is like, I guess, a rebound year or a rebuilding year. 6-7, 4-4, 8th in the ACC. Lost in the Mayo Bowl to Minnesota, which is kind of funny because UNC beat Minnesota in the first week of the year. Well, that was a wild game. So they won 24-10. So that is your last season record for both of these schools. And then we have the last time these two teams have met, which is all the way back to 1991. Which is on September 21st. South Carolina won 28-21, and of course, South Carolina leads the series 11 wins, 7 losses, and 2 ties. How do you have 2 ties? I mean, there should be no reason for 2 ties unless it's just time constraints or just they couldn't win or both teams are just not good at finishing the games. It's just so strange. It always is strange to me. All right, so the location will be a neutral site game, which sucks in my opinion. I don't really like neutral site games. I like either home field advantage. They'll be at the Atlanta Falcons Stadium, which is a Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, which the time, of course, is 3 p.m. Eastern Time. So there you guys have for the location. And then next we have the coaches comparison. Shane Beamer has done a good job so far. Coaching in the SEC is tough. So like 4 years, record is 29-22. So I think that South Carolina will do well under Shane Beamer if he hits from the transfer portal and he has a good, solid quarterback and of course the defense, especially in the ACC. So not bad. Brent Fry could be on the hot seat. Who knows? But I think they'll do well this year at Virginia Tech. He has got to have the right guys on his team. So 3 years, 16-21. So I think they need to give him some time to rebuild Virginia Tech. So there you guys have it for the coaches comparison. And then next we have the last year's strength of schedule. I don't know off the top of my head if this is the actual like legit ranking. So take it with a grain of salt. I tried this on ESPN. So I got this off of ESPN, which is conference ranking 13th out of 16th for the SEC for South Carolina. Nationally, they're ranked 17th toughest schedule of last year. And so let's go ahead and go through the schedule. Week 1 was Old Dominion. That game was crazy. Old Dominion almost beat South Carolina with a wild game. And then, of course, the next game, they smacked Kentucky 31-6. And then the game right after that, which is they lost to LSU off of a crazy field goal ending weird drive. And that was a wild game, too. So they had 2 already wild games. And they killed Akron 50-7. And they lost to Ole Miss 27-3. They lost to Bama. They could have won that game too, 27-25. They beat Oklahoma, which is a solid win, 35-9. They beat Texas A&M at the time ranked 10th in the nation, which that was kind of crazy. So that's a very solid win, 44-20. They beat Vanderbilt 28-7. They beat Missouri, which is also another key win, and they destroyed Wofford 56-12, and they beat Clemson. And they haven't beaten Clemson in a long time, I think, which they won 17-14. And of course, Clemson made the playoffs, unlike South Carolina, who had, I guess, the better record. But it's just how the college football playoffs panned out. And of course, they lost to Illinois 21-17 in a bowl game. Illinois is also a solid program this year as well. All right, so the Hokies, Virginia Tech Hokies finished the conference. They had a 9th out of 16th best for their conference schedule of strength, and of course nationally not so great, 65th out of 134. So I guess you can say that's a slightly or a below average type schedule. So a little bit easy, a little bit not. But they lost to Vanderbilt. That was a heartbreaker. They did beat Marshall 31-14. They did beat Old Dominion 37-17. They lost to Rutgers 26-23. They lost to Miami 38-34. Miami just had a horrible defense last year, but yet Cam Ward bailed them out last year. They beat Stanford 31-7. They beat Boston College, who's not a bad program either, which is that was a solid win for them, 42-21. And of course, they had a solid win against Georgia Tech, who's also up and coming of a football program, 21-6. They lost to Syracuse. That was a tough game. They lost to Clemson. Still a close game. They almost beat Duke. Duke's on the rise too. It just hurts me to say that because I'm a UNC fan. Lost 31-28. Of course, they beat Virginia 37-17. That's a key win for them because it's a rival. And of course, they lost to Minnesota in the bowl game. So there you guys have it for the strength of schedule for both teams. And of course, players drafted and signed. We got players drafted, 5 players from South Carolina. South Carolina definitely produces a lot of key defensive players. Not a whole lot of offensive players. It's like more of a pipeline for defense. So they had a solid player, safety Nick Emmanwori, 2nd round, 35th pick to the Seahawks. That's a solid pick for them. Defensive tackle TJ Sanders, 2nd round, 41st pick to the Bills. Linebacker Demetrius Knight, 2nd round, 49th pick to the Bengals. Defensive edge Kyle Kennard, 4th round, 125th pick to the Chargers. The defensive tackle Tonka Hemingway, 4th round, 130th pick to the Raiders. And your undrafted free agents, they had 6 guys go undrafted. We got running back Rocket Sanders to the Chargers. Wide receiver Gage Lavardin to the Browns. Defensive tackle Alex Boogie Huntley to the Dolphins. Tight end Joshua Simmons to the Falcons. We got offensive lineman Torricelli Simpkins to the Saints. Linebacker Bam Martin Scott. So there you guys have it for the South Carolina players drafted and signed. Next, we have the Virginia Tech Hokies, who also had 5 guys drafted in the NFL draft. So pretty solid for both teams. They did have 9 guys undrafted, but running back Bashul Tutin, 4th round, 104th pick to the Jaguars. Wide receiver Jalen Lane, 4th round, 128th to the Commanders. Defensive back Dorian Strong, 6th round, 177th pick to the Bills. Defensive edge rusher Antoine Powell Ryland, 6th round, 209th pick to the Eagles. Defensive tackle Aeneas Peebles, 6th round, 210th pick to the Ravens. And the undrafted free agents is Wilfried Pene to the Patriots. Defensive tackle linebacker Keontae Jenkins to the Bills. Quarterback Colin Schlee to the Commanders. Wide receiver Daquan Felton to the Giants. Wide receiver Stephon Gosnell to the Bills. Offensive tackle Parker Clements to the Raiders. Guard Caden Moore to the Titans. Defensive tackle Josh Fugua. Safety Jalen Jones to the Chargers. And punter Peter Moore to the Colts. So there you guys have it for the players drafted and signed. Okay, so the players, the transfer portal. Last year, South Carolina had 23 players transfer out. These are just 5 random players I just posted on the board. We got tight end Connor Cox to North Carolina. Linebacker Ronnie Porter to App State. Brother of Ronnie, Rondo Porter to App State. Defensive edge rusher Wendell Gregory to Oklahoma State. a wide receiver, DeBron Gatlington, Georgia Tech. And of course, we have Virginia Tech. They had 31 players transfer out, which is kind of crazy. Virginia Tech had offensive lineman Bob Schick to Oklahoma State, safety Cam Fleming to App State, linebacker Jaden McDonald to UCF, my bad. Quarterback Davy Belfort to UCF, wide receiver Chance Fitzgerald to Vanderbilt. So there you guys have for the transferring out. And then we have the transferring in of players. 18 players transferred in. We got running back Isaiah Augustave from Colorado. We got linebacker Justin Aronco. I can't pronounce that last name. From Alabama. Quarterback Aaron Nolan from Ohio State. Defensive lineman Jalen Brown from Missouri. Defensive lineman Gabriel Brownlow Dindy from Texas A&M. So there you guys have it for the players transferring in. And lastly, we got Virginia Tech with 30 players transferring in. Offensive lineman Jaden Muskrat from Auburn. Quarterback Garrett Marangel from Oklahoma State. Linebacker Jordan Bass from Pitt. Wide receiver Cameron Seldon from Tennessee. Safety Cheryl Colville Jr. from Clemson. So there you guys have it for the players transferring in and transferring out. Now we go to the top 3 offensive players from last year for offense and defense: quarterback, running back, defensive tackle, linebacker, and defensive back. So we got Lenora Sellers, who's going to be on the Heisman watch next year, potentially. This guy's going to be really good. This was a key factor for South Carolina last year with 196 completions to 299 attempts, 65.6 completion percentage, 2,534 receiving or passing yards, 8.5 average per throw, 18 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. Pretty solid for him last year. We got running back Rasul Fajan, 198 carries, 1,109 rushing yards. Really, really solid. Averaged about 5.6 per carry. Had 8 touchdowns last year. So a solid game or solid stats from him last year. Then we got, Nick Harbor from wide receiver, 26 receptions, 376 receiving yards, 14.5 per carry, and 3 touchdowns for Nick Harbor. So, and their offense is a multiple type offense. So, there you guys have it. All right, so for the top 3 offensive players for Virginia Tech, we got Kyron Drones, who's back with the team. He had 136 completions to 224 attempts with 60.7 completion percentage, had 1,562 passing yards, averaged about 7.0 per throw, had 10 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. I wonder if he came in to the starting position and the other quarterback got hurt. But I didn't really watch a whole lot of Virginia Tech last year, just against UNC. Running back Terrion Stewart, he's back with the team, so he had a solid year last year. Had 166 carries, had 898 rushing yards, averaged about 5.4 per carry, had 6 touchdowns. So solid year for him. We got Donovan Green, 23 receptions, 380 receiving yards, averaged about 16.5 per catch, and he had 3 touchdowns as well. I forgot to put that in on my spreadsheet. But they also run a multiple offense. All right, so the top 3 defensive players for South Carolina. We got defensive lineman Brian Thomas Jr., who's back with the team. He had 23 total tackles, 12 tackles solo, 6.5 tackles for loss. He had 4.5 sacks, 2 quarterback hits, and 1 forced fumble. Solid year for him last year. Linebacker Sean Murphy, 13 total tackles, 6 solo, 1.5 tackles for loss. And, of course, defensive back Jalen Kilgore. He had 48 total tackles, 31 solo, 3.0 tackles for loss, 3 quarterback hits, 5 interceptions, and 5 pass deflections. So solid year for him, for Jalen Kilgore. So it looks like South Carolina lost a lot of guys to the NFL draft. So let's see how they'll do on the defensive side. But I'm sure they definitely got some guys from the transfer portal from this past season. So there you guys have it for the top 3 defensive players for South Carolina. All right, so the top 3 defensive players for Virginia Tech, we got transfer defensive lineman James DeJoncam. I think that's how I pronounce his last name. I don't know. 98 total tackles, 34 solo, 11.5 tackles for loss, 3.0 sacks, 4 QB hits, 1 forced fumble, and 4 pass deflections. So really, really solid year for him. We got linebacker Jaden Keller, 83 total tackles, 35 solo, 1.5 total tackles for loss, 2 quarterback hits, and 1 pass deflection. We got defensive back Isaiah Brown Murray, 41 total tackles, 30 solo, 1 forced fumble, 1 interception, and 7 pass deflections. A solid year for him last year as a defensive back. So there you guys have it for the top 3 players last year and coming into this year, which I think will be the key guys for this defense. And there you guys have it for Virginia Tech's top 3 defense. Now we have the team stats. Last year, South Carolina ranked 75th in the nation, averaged about 223.4 passing yards. Rushing yards, they averaged about 35th in the nation, pretty solid, 184.4. Points, 4, they had 30.5 points. 4 was ranked 48th in the nation, pretty solid. And of course, points against, they only allowed 18 points last year, which is really solid too. 12 points, or 12, ranked 12th in the nation. Their total offense was 407.8. Defense, total yards allowed, 316.6 yards. Passing yards allowed, 204.4. Rushing yards allowed, 112.2. So there you guys have it for the team stats for South Carolina. Now we have Virginia Tech. Passing yards, they're ranked 108th in the nation. Not great, ranked with 189.4. But the rushing game was pretty solid. They're ranked 43rd in the nation, which is 178.4. Points for, not too bad, but not great if you want to win games. Ranked 68th in the nation with having 28.2 points per game. Still, I mean, not bad, which is like only 2 points less than South Carolina. But their defense was the key issue last year, allowing 22 points. Actually, not really. They just had a lot of close games. 22.8, which ranked 39th. So they had an okay defense last year. Just the offense couldn't really get them going last year. So total yards on offense, they had 367.8. Total yards allowed, which is 363.0. Passing yards allowed, 215.9. Passing yards allowed. Rushing yards allowed, 147.1. So there you guys have it for the stats for Virginia Tech. And then now, lastly, we got some extra stats for you guys to see. Total points out of 100. So I think that past 50 is good. So I think 50 is considered average, maybe. So I don't really understand the whole efficiency type thing. But take it with a grain of salt. If you guys know any of this, if you're just a stat nerd, just comment down below. So South Carolina was ranked 20th overall in the efficiency ranking, which they had 73.3 points out of 100, which is solid. Offense, they had a 59.0 out of 100, ranked 48th in the nation, so I guess that's good, I think. Defense, they had a really solid year for efficiency. 77.9 out of 100 was ranked 9th in the country, so there you guys have it. So lastly, we got Virginia Tech. They were 66.9 points out of 100, which they're ranked 37th of efficiency. Offense, 51.1 out of 100, which ranked 62 in the nation for efficiency. So I guess that's bad. I don't really know. Defense, 71.1 out of 100, ranked 22nd in the nation. So that's pretty good for them. So there you guys have it for the extra stats for those two. So lastly, the final prediction. So if you made it all the way through this video, thank you. You guys are awesome. If you watched the whole thing, you are a true follower or subscriber. And thanks for watching. But if you did just scroll through or just skipped it with the timestamp, thank you for watching at the end. And so my final prediction of this video, I'm going to go with South Carolina. I think that South Carolina is the better team. They have a lot of guys coming back from their team. And I think that though they have a young defense because a lot of guys left for the NFL draft, but I still think that South Carolina is the more prepared team. No bias to any of the schools for Virginia Tech or South Carolina. So I'm not trying to be biased, but I think that South Carolina has the edge over Virginia Tech, which is my score is going to be 27-17. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think that South Carolina will pull off later on to the third to the fourth quarter and pretty much close out this game. So there you guys have it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and thanks for watching. And except for here, y'all have a great rest of the night, and peace out.